Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Saturday, December 2nd, 7 p.m. Mountain Time 2023. One of the largest coronal holes in years is facing Earth and may have triggered a large earthquake, as we had warned about. 7.6 in the Philippines earlier today. Tsunami warnings went out. I don't believe any tsunamis were seen. Massive amounts of aftershocks as well. The bad news is we are not out of the woods. The coronal hole stream from this gigantic hole will arrive in less than 2 days. And if the models hold up, we'll have snow in 49 states a week before Christmas. Shut up, Al! Get in your hole! Keep calm. It's boom time. Winter storm takes aim at New England this weekend. Heads up, the full forecast. Just ahead, heavy plowable snow possible for parts of New Hampshire Sunday night into Monday, which will be their fun day as December starts stormy in the Northeast with multiple rounds of rain and snow expected into next week. Here's the full forecast. Winter storm and heavy rain impacts portions of the west. Rain across the southeast shifts into the mid-Atlantic on Sunday. Heavy rain and high elevation snow and high winds will continue in the Pacific Northwest, Rockies, and parts of the Great Basin through the weekend. River flooding, flash flooding, and debris flows will also be possible near recent burn scars, so heed the warnings. Strong storms with heavy downpours will impact the Gulf Coast into the southeast through Sunday morning as rain then enters the mid-Atlantic by the afternoon. Let's take a look at the GFS model and see how that pattern is going to progress. Here we are, quick look. You can see that system that's moved into the Pacific Northwest and that lingering moisture down here in the southeast. That's going to make its way up Sunday and into Monday into the northeast. And by Monday, heavy snow will hit the mountains as a second system. Take a look at this. Very significant system moving in Tuesday, again, to the Pacific Northeast as the snow tapers off up in New England. Look at that system moving in. Should be some thunder snow involved with that. Heavy mixing in parts of the border between Canada and the U.S. near Montana and Idaho there. And it will be an interesting picture as heavy moisture comes in through midweek, and that could be flooding for the Pacific Northwest. As far as the snowfall forecast, we have a major nor'easter forecast for mid-December, which could bring the snow to the southeast. But in the meantime, take a look at the record snow on the GFS piling up in Washington state. That is epic. It's amounts of snow through December, second week of December. A December to remember, folks. Take a look at that. Now, earlier today, a strong quake in the Philippines triggered tsunami warnings and evacuations. But the tsunami threat ended a few hours later after the 7.6 earthquake rattled the island nation. And there are some harrowing videos capturing the moments of massive earthquake hits the Philippines. I cannot confirm or deny if this is actual footage from the quake. They just said it was a 7.3 there. But huge. Look at that. A whole four-story building tilted on its side there. And I'm sure there were deaths and injuries from this event. The reason being is we do have some footage up on Oppenheimer Ranch Project at Diamond the Dave. Oh, and in case you haven't heard, global warming froze some planes in Germany to the tarmac as the elites were trying to make their way to the COP38 climate summit. Pretty interesting. I don't know if these are true, but let's take a look. This could be some footage from the earthquake. Let's turn on the volume.
Breaking news.
Now, what I find frustrating is very few people protecting their heads. The ones at the end there were clearly under a table, which is good news, and that's what you should do. But the majority of people just standing out in the open with these idiots trying to hold on to their wine. Holy macaroni. Clearly a very fearful event. Come check out all the breaking news all day at Oppenheimer Ranch Project at Diamond the Dave. I said it. Seismic update. No other quakes of note except the cacophony of quakes here over in the Philippines. Pretty typical of a large quake of this magnitude. We're going to have dozens of aftershocks in every magnitude below 7. So we should see 106 magnitude, 1,005 magnitude, and so on and so forth. So very normal aftershock activity happening in the Philippines. No other quakes of note worldwide. Good news. Now, the volcano behind the cataclysm of 1883, and that's Krakatoa eruption, sparks modern tsunami fears, but they are kind of unfounded. When Krakatoa woke up as an Krakatau recently, several years ago, it did cause a tsunami, but the volcano has not built up to the size where catastrophic things occur. It is simply doing what Krakatau does, and it erupts frequently, and a new uptick in eruptions has begun recently. Since November 26th, the volcano has awakened, and some small puffs coming from Krakatau, but in my opinion, there is no threat of imminent tsunami whatsoever. There is a threat of imminent eruption on Iceland, however, even though we've been waiting and Grindavik has been evacuated and seismicity is lowered. Only 120 earthquakes have stricken Grindavik in the last 24 hours. We are still anticipating an imminent eruption because, well, the magma is continuing to push into that dike and the uplift is continuing between 10 and 40 centimeters per day in the region around north of Grindavik. So our thoughts and our prayers go out to those families affected in Grindavik as the seismicity, albeit low, continues. I did have the tremor map up here. Where did that go? Here we go. This is the Grindavik tremor, and you can see over the last 2 days it has been dropping. So if we saw an imminent eruption, we would be looking for an uptick in the tremor as the lava makes its way to the surface. Doesn't seem to be happening right now, but we'll keep a close eye on it for you. As we take a look at worldwide volcano news, we've got Klyuchkov, the most recent volcano exploding on the Kamchatka to 20,000 feet here. Sangay to 21,000, Sabancaya to 25,000, Fuego, Reventador to 15, Popo to 20,000, Nevado de Ruiz, 21,000 feet puff, and normal activity worldwide. Nothing significant to report on in the volcanoverse. Space weather news, however, massive coronal hole facing Earth. Very little space weather in the form of flaring occurring in the last 24 hours. The sun has gone quiet, but massive coronal hole 76 is facing Earth, and the coronal hole stream should arrive Monday, December 4th. They're expecting G2 geomagnetic storm up to KP6 here, but with the size of the hole that this is, anything is possible, including large earthquakes up to magnitude 8 or greater. The reason I say this is there is great scientific information, including peer-reviewed papers on the topic, including this one from the European Physical Journal of Special Topics, the sun as a significant agent provoking earthquakes. Now, most papers on the topic of the sun and earthquakes lean towards claiming that coronal mass ejections and subsequent geomagnetic storms are the culprit. But in this paper, they provide significant evidence that the sun is a principal agent provoking seismic activity. In particular, the aim of the study here presented is to examine the possible relation of coronal hole-driven high-speed solar wind streams with seismicity. And they do a great job in the paper that will be linked below. The full paper for you. You don't have to pay for it. And it is fantastic. The links with coronal holes and large earthquakes. Go check it out. All the links will be below. And for the next 2 days, we have a major earthquake watch on Earth. Now, the Leaning Tower in Italy, not the Leaning Tower of Pisa, is on high alert for collapse. This is another Leaning Tower. This is a Leaning Tower that has stood tipsy but steadily for nearly 1,000 years. But now, the days of Garensenda Tower in Bologna, Italy, could be numbered. Following investigations last month, the city is investigating a civil protection plan for the sudden and unexpected collapse of the tower, which has dominated the Bologna skyline since the 12th century. You can see here that tower leaning as it is. Now, my question is, how come all of these structures, like this tower and even the Chacoan ruins in the desert Southwest, were all being built in the 12th century? What was going on in the 12th century that led people all around the world to build fantastic structures? Just a little food for thought. And if you want to continue on that, join us in just a moment over at Magnetic Reversal News for another hour, an hour of power of scientific inquiry into the claim that Gunung Padang is a 27,000-year-old pyramid. We'll break it down in the first 30 minutes, and then we will parlay that into a second half that discusses the Mayan culture and its influence in North American archaeology. Absolutely mind-blowing. Join us in just a moment over at Magnetic Reversal News for the boom. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video as we are shadow banned and we need your help to grow. Become a Patreon, support the work we do, and watch all of our podcasts in one place, commercial free. Be safe. We love you, and we'll see you in a moment over at Magnetic Reversal News. Well, for the premiere.